Hello everybody, this is Dr. Novak again. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. The heading of this channel is Follow the Science. Now, I put a little caution there because it seems like some people, one person made a comment that I didn't come to this channel to be political. You know, I don't get political. I really don't. I give current events. Remember current events? You used to do that in grade school, current events. I don't mix words with political parties because I myself am a independent. I don't have any affiliation with any political parties myself. I'm an independent. I think on my own. I don't beat by the same drum of one party or the next party. So I don't try to make things political, but I do give current events. And if you want to take the current events politically, that's your business. That's why I said, adults only. I don't make my videos for children. I do it for adults, rational thinking, full-grown adults that should be thinking rationally. Follow the science, though. One thing I want to bring up is at the end of this video, I'm going to show an aquarium, Nancy's aquarium. It's really a very nice aquarium, uses a plenum. She has some real nice fish, beautiful black lace angelfish. You know, if you like black lace angelfish with the big, huge tails and fins and everything, you're going to like this. She also has parrotfish and stuff, but she sent me some pictures, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about her at the setup, and that will be at the end of the video. But anyhow, this is current events. And I was thinking about this, and this brought me up to follow the science. Now, there's one thing that we learned through the pandemic, and that was the words, follow the science. Remember how that was constantly being said? You need to follow the science. You need to trust the scientists. If you didn't follow the science, if all of you remember, and I know how it was in the United States and part of Canada and stuff, you were chastised, you were belittled, you were public shamed, you couldn't go to events of your family if you didn't follow the science. Remember that, people? If you didn't follow the science, you didn't have a job anymore. If you didn't follow the science, that was mandated on you. They literally had to mandate it on you and compel you to follow the science. And millions upon millions upon millions of people followed the science, and they went and got the jab. And you remember that? How adamant people were, how they treated other human beings, how they did chastise you and belittled you and shamed you publicly, and we all remember that. I remember that you had to follow the science. But it's kind of funny, and I was just thinking about that, it's kind of funny how millions upon millions advocated to follow the science. Yet when it comes to the aquarium trade, we don't have to follow science. No. Nobody has to follow science. In fact, if you don't follow the science, you're good. If you follow the science, on the other hand, you are bad. You are public shamed. You are chastised. You are called names. You are belittled in front of millions of people because you are following the science. It's funny how that works, how we pick and choose and cherry pick what we want to accept and what we don't want to accept by following the science. Now, what I talk about on this channel is the science that we know that's being taught in our universities and colleges and things like this, our wastewater management courses and everything else. This would be in microbiology. This would be, as I showed my last video, And I just was sent more videos from Brazil about how other fish stores with biologists working there using plenums in different sections of Brazil. And yet people chastise you, they make fun of you, they belittle you. I know this because it's been happening to me for over 40 years. It's still happening to this day. You get channels that, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, this is the science. Now, it's funny how we follow science when it's convenient for us, but we don't want to follow the science when it really is science, and it makes it inconvenient for us because we choose to do it a different way because we're either lazy or it's less expensive or we don't want to go through the time and trouble, which would probably fall under laziness, or we just become deniers or commerce. Okay? But it is kind of funny, isn't it? During the pandemic, you had to follow the science. You were disgraced if you didn't. In this trade, well, you don't have to follow the science. In fact, you're better off not following the science and just listening to people that have no science behind what they're doing. I mean, they can't say that, well, our universities and colleges are teaching what they're doing. You know, they can't say that. All they can say is, well, this is the way we do it. Even public aquariums don't even do it their way. But that's okay. That's okay. We don't want to listen to the science now. We just want to do it our way because of the reasons I just explained. So, you know, I'm not getting political. I'm just current events. That's all it was. It's funny how we cherry pick when we want the science and how we cherry pick when we don't want the science. It's funny how we do that, isn't it? And how we act the same way when the pandemic came, how we belittled people and public shamed them. We act the same exact way in the aquarium hobby and this hobby because this is one hobby where there's science involved. Now, if you went into audio, there's a lot of electrical theories and stuff, but there's no science behind it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people will say, "What are they talking about? This is nonsense. It's snake oils. It's the emperor's new clothes." You know what I mean? But here in the hobby, this particular hobby, there's science, and everybody learns science when they start the hobby, right? We all learn it at a very young age. Oh, by the way, there is a nitrogen cycle. And there's bacteria. So we're learning the science when we first start in here, no matter what age you're at. Even if you're a little child, you start learning the science of having an aquarium because there's a lot of things with science because the environment of which our animals live in is not a environment that's terrestrial, it's aquatic. And we need to understand how bacteria and aquatic animals and plants live being submerged in water versus like a canary or a parrot or anything. They're all terrestrial animals, so we don't have to worry about them having enough oxygen because they breathe the amount of oxygen we have in our atmosphere. They have no problems. Your dog, cat, your aardvark, your hippopotamus, whatever pet you got out there. But fish are completely different. They have a whole different environment. So we need to know science in order to keep fish. Now, a lot of people want to disregard a lot of the science because, well, I only want plants. And fish are only secondary in the aquarium trade. It's perfectly fine if that's what you want. If that's the part of the hobby you're going into, the fish aren't number one thing. That's why we see aquariums that have tiny little tetras or something and 15 of them in a tank, and they only feed them every 2 to 3 days. They starve them because The fish are going to pollute my aquarium. Well, to stop that, you have to know science. And apparently people don't want to know the science. So I thought it was just something I saw with people debating on a video with professionals about science. And I remember this lady brought up that, well, all you're bringing up is science. And he goes, the scientist said, yeah, that's what I'm bringing up. I'm bringing up the science. You're not bringing up science. You're just bringing up something you're just making up as you're going along. And that triggered me in thinking the same thing with this hobby. We just make up things as we go along, and we don't have any science behind it. We just make it up, and it's placebo science. Lysenko science is what it is. And if any of you know anything about Lysenko, you would know about Lysenko and the science he had in Russia. Something that's taught to you in college. And they call it Lysenko science. And everything he did was wrong. All his science was completely wrong. Okay, he made it up. It was made up science. Google it if you don't know Lysenko science from Russia. Lysenko from Russia. And it's something that's taught in school to know that how you can trick people with just made up science. Well, he didn't trick people. It was a matter of, other scientists were saying, nah, he's wrong and everything. But it's really interesting to learn about Lysenko science. Anyhow, and that's how it is in this aquarium trade, because this aquarium trade is not like photography or anything. It requires science. It requires that you know some science. It requires that you know a little bit about biology. It's a little more complicated than just having a bird in a cage or a dog or a cat. It's a lot more complicated than that. There's science behind it. Otherwise, you're more than likely going to fail, and you're going to be out of the hobby in a short time. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring that up. I just thought, make that real short and sweet. Why is it that we cherry pick science when we want to, and then when people do bring up science, we belittle them, we public shame them, we call them names, and yet we just make up our own science? Isn't that kind of funny? Because it's happened to me for over 40 years, and it's still doing it today. I mean, people are still doing it today. It's like, well, where are you getting your information from? I get mine from colleges and universities. Where are you getting yours from? I'd like to know. Tell me, where are you getting yours from? Anyhow, let's get into Nancy's aquarium and some of her fine pictures that she sent me. I think it'd be very interesting. And we'll get into what she talks about on how she did her aquarium. Okay, this is Nancy's aquarium, an overall view of the aquarium. And in the next few pictures, I'll be showing you close-ups of some of the fish she has and everything. And I'm going to read exactly what she sent me. I'll make comments as I go along. She reads, I use the same products you use in your video that shows how to make the bags. The bag she's talking about is the BCB bags that I put in my canister filters. Let's see, I purchased the bags and laterite powder off of Amazon and kitty litter from Walmart. I hope to be able to switch to a plenum within a couple of weeks. So the aquarium she's showing, and the picture, of course, is I take it without aquarium. Let's see, I will send video of that project. I set the tank up on December 15th with a Fluval 406 canister filter with a sponge on the intake and a spray bar on the outtake. A large aquarium co-op sponge filter with air stone and another air stone and bubbler wand. Okay, I'll make comment about this. So you set up an aquarium, and the first thing you do is you wind up going out and you get a sponge filter to aid in your biological filter. Now, this doesn't make sense. This is what I've been trying to tell you. Why not use your whole bottom of the aquarium as your biological? But what Nancy has done is exactly what's being told to people. Okay? You're told to just take your substrate, throw it at the bottom of the aquarium, and you're told to go from there and buy sponge filters and buy more biological filter to put into your canister filters or your hang on the back filters and to make more biological filters because they don't make mention of why aren't you using the substrate as your biological, as has been done in the past and has been done in your wastewater management facilities. Why don't you do that? You could save your money on buying these sponges, filters, and stuff to put in your aquarium to look unsightly. Clean up your aquarium, make your aquarium look a little more cosmetically nicer. But I'm not saying what she did was wrong because this is what they're telling people to do. And people just don't seem to understand your substrate can become your biological, and that's basically it. All you need from there is your mechanical. Very simple. So you don't need to buy sponges or whatever. And in fact, if you just want to pick up detritus and loose dirt and stuff that's in the aquarium, a box filter could be added to your aquarium instead of going through the expense of a hang on the back filter or a canister filter, right? Just buy a box filter and put floss in it. And if you wanted to put carbon in it to help keep the water crystal clear, but other than that, you're not doing it for biological purposes because you already have your biological. You're going to do it for mechanical purposes. Okay, so, but this is not what's being told to people, that you can use your substrate as biological. That's what it's there for. Okay, she has two 100-watt heaters. The gravel was mixed with brands I bought at PetSmart and on Amazon. Let's see, Midnight Pearl is the one I like best, she says. I have black lava rock and crushed coral, as well as cuttlebone. Now, the cuttlebone she's probably using for the hardness of her water or to add calcium. That's what you use a cuttlebone for with birds, so they can get that calcium because they need that calcium to make their eggs. Well, I'm surprised she uses a cuttlebone because that's an old trick, and I wonder how she found that out, unless she just figured it out herself, that you could put a cuttlebone in your aquarium or in your filter or something if you need to add more calcium to your water. If you have very soft water, that's the way it comes out of the tap, you can go to any local pet store and buy a cuttlebone. And that's one way of getting calcium. For aquarium use, it works quite well. I have a slate rock clay pot, wood coconut, and 20 different plants in there. I started this hobby last May with 2 bettas, which I still have. I have been trying plants now for 6 months. I like the natural look of plants, but I am more interested in keeping fish and their overall health and well-being. The largest tank allowed me to keep a wider range of fish, and I've had some losses, diseases, and had advice that led me to your video. So apparently someone must have given her advice. She doesn't say whether it was good advice, bad advice, but it led her to my videos. I am really excited to give this a shot. I will send more pictures and share whatever you want to others. So that's why I'm sharing this with you, which is good. That's what this is. This is a learning channel, and it's good that people do send me stuff so we can all learn from what they're doing or their mistakes. This tank has one angelfish and Till Hill Stream loaches, 3 parrotfish, let's see, cories, let's see what we got, Bosmanii, and 6 to help others. The tank has 1 angelfish, okay, 2 nitrate snails, and a few pink ram horn snails, about a dozen pond snails, not too much algae, but mum buildup, and pond snails probably having to do with heavy feeding. I feed a wide variety of frozen pellets, flake, and when I can, I hatch my own brine shrimp. I was able to find everything to make the plenum and BCB bags on Amazon. If that helps some Americans gather material, I will send updates. Okay, so basically she got everything on Amazon. It's funny how you can go to pet stores and buy under-gravel filters. It's funny that when I show my video of Brazil, they literally have the under-gravel filter sitting inside the aquariums for sale. You know, that's the way they sell them. We don't do that anymore. We have an aquarium, and they'll maybe have a heater, hang on the back filter. It'll have, I don't know, may have some gravel or something, but you don't see them also throw an under-gravel filter in there anymore like they used to back in the 70s. That's the way you used to buy tanks. They would give you a complete setup, light, lid, gravel, under-gravel filter, maybe hang on the back aquarium filter with it. And this is how you got started, and an air pump, and this is how you got started. This is how you started you out. You had your mechanical and you had your biological. You know, today they don't seem to do that. They don't sell you your biological, and they kind of, you know, say, oh, well, that will eventually grow, and which it does. It does. Even if you don't have a plenum, you are going to get some biological on your substrate. But a lot of people have to wind up substituting, or should I say not substituting, adding to that as far as sponge filters or Sorperax or some other product like that to aid in the nitrogen cycle if they decide they want to have more fish than maybe 15 little neons in their aquarium. Okay, so anyhow, I did want to bring that up. I want to thank Nancy very much for sending me this. I hope she sends me more. I hope she sends me updates. The updates are going to be good because if she shows me how she set up her aquarium, I can show you guys exactly how she set it up, which helps you because not everybody does it exactly the same. As we can see in other countries, they may do it differently. They won't have an under-gravel filter. They'll use PVC piping, and they'll use some lava rock on top of it, and then they'll put their substrate, which I've had people send me videos, or not videos, but photographs of exactly that's the way they did it. And it seems to work for them. You know, all they do is maybe put a piece of plastic or screening on top of the lava rock and then put all their substrate they want on top of that. So there's all kinds of ways to skin a cat, I guess, to make your substrate biological and will take care of all your needs. Anyhow, until next time, this is Dr. Noy. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You know, blah, blah, blah. You all know the routine. More than 65% of the people that watch these videos don't ever subscribe. And YouTube is getting worse with things. In fact, I even heard this. I don't know if you heard this, but YouTube is getting so bad now. They're actually, in order to show your videos, or they keep them up so people can watch them or find them, you actually have to pay them to do that. It's like, what? You know, these videos are being made because people want to make Some people are making a livelihood out of this. That's why they have Patreons. I found out that Patreons are out there because people are trying to make a livelihood. And as they go on, they can't depend on just their videos alone from YouTube. They actually now are depending on Patreon. And even then, people come and go off of Patreon. But if their videos aren't being watched, then people aren't joining their Patreons just to make money. Now, I don't have that because my videos aren't designed for me to make money. You know what I mean? I do them. They make a little bit of money, and if I even made less, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not depending on it. But I do feel sorry for those individuals, and I've heard some of them are making videos every single day, and they're really upset over this because they're trying to make a livelihood out of YouTube. And YouTube is basically messing them up, screwing them over, as they claim, because they are trying to make a livelihood. So when you don't subscribe to people's channels and you just watch them, it really hurts everybody, because then the algorithm of YouTube doesn't show the videos to everybody who may want to see them, and it cuts it off. And only the big channels, I notice, only the channels that own businesses will be shown. And the little guy like me, and there's others out there, they get shoved off in the corner, the YouTube algorithm corner somewhere deep, deep in the abyss. And their videos don't get shown compared to the more powerful YouTube channels that are out there. So until next time, this is Dr. Novak. Happy fish keeping.